This is MAP4C day 32. This is the first day of Unit 4, and Unit 4 is on statistical literacy, kind of going on with what we did last chapter on two variable stats. The 3-minute review are a couple of old things here. Solving problems involving ratios and rates, very old stuff. Ratio is a comparison of two or more quantities. And question number 1, in a sample of 20 grade 12 students, 6 said they were planning to return for a fifth year. Write a ratio of victory lappers to total. Well, all right, so we got 6 returning for a fifth year to total, 20 total, and we can simplify that. It's kind of like a fraction. 2 goes into the top, or first and second thing, kind of like fractions. Top and bottom, I was going to say. If there are 180 grade 12s this year, how many would you expect to return for a fifth year? Well, the ratio 3 to 10 can be written like that, a fraction. That's 30%, which is 0.3 in decimals. And then if we want to figure out what percent of, or how many out of 180, it's just 30% times that, right? 30% of 180, and I think that is 54 people. And that's one of the things about stats, is that we can do a little sample of 20 and then make a prediction about the entire group. Number 2 for the 3-minute review, a double 3-minute review here. For the data to the right, calculate the mean, median, mode, and range. This data represents the memory game score for 12 students in MAP4C. So this was the Stats Canada, no, it's the census at school data, not Stats Canada. Census at school data from a class a couple of years ago, maybe. For the mean is the one where you add them up and then you divide by the total, right? The total is 550. You add them all up, you get 550. Then the mean is 550 divided by the number of pieces of data, which is 12. For the median, it's the middlemost piece of data, right? It's the middle one. But for us to find the middle one, they have to be in order. So we got to put them in order. Got to shuffle them into order here, and here I go. This is actually harder to do than it sounds, because you go through and you try and not miss any pieces of data, and sometimes you'll miss one, and it can be pretty tough. 53, 59, and 63. And one way to find the middle is to cross off highs and lows and just keep doing that until you're in the middle. But if we've got 12 students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the middle is right there, isn't it? There's 6 on either side. Then this is the median right here. And since there isn't actually a piece of data that represents the median, we just find, the total of those two and add them up and divide by 2. So we go 46 plus 48 divided by 2, that's 47, and that's the median. The mode is the one that occurs most frequently, and that looks like 49 is the piece of data that occurs most frequently. The range is just the high minus the low, right? Range is high minus low, and what's that? That's 40, 35, I think, and that's the range. And that's review of last year's class, MAP4C. You did one variable stats, and this is one variable stats here. And we're talking about some of these stats again in this chapter. On to the lesson. So the activate prior knowledge, we've done some of that already by talking about mean and median and mode and all that business. And then we're going to talk about some new stuff today as well. The expectations recognize and interpret common statistical terms and expressions used in the median. The median, we talked about the median, is the piece of data where, well, half, but that's not what we're expecting here because they're talking later about percentile. Well, what percent of the data are below 50%? Right? So the median is what we call the 50th percentile. Right? Because it's the piece of data where 50% of the data lie below. So any percentile shows what percent of the people are below. So for example, if Ferd is in the 23rd percentile for intelligent, it means 23% of people are below Ferd in intelligence, right? Are below Ferd for intelligence. Well, not many, right? So that means Ferd's not very intelligent. 77% are above, right? Okay. And that's what percentile means. On we go. Is there another question down here? No. Example 1, return to the memory game data. The data we used in the 3-minute review. What percentile is 59? Well, if I go over there, I think we're going to use this data a couple times. I'm going to scoop it. Here, let me just scoop it. It's all already sorted for me so I can count easy. All right, I'm going to copy that. Bam. It's a little big, but that's okay. I'm going to cut that just so I can read it. I think there's a couple questions here. Edit. Why can't I paste that? I wonder. I don't know. I don't know why I can't paste. Well, shall I just write it out again? I guess I shall. Bummer. Here, I got it right here. Technology sometimes. Can't cut and paste. Bummer. Does that look like the data? Looks like it. How many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. We got everybody. What percentile is 59? Well, there's 59. That was a very slow score. High score, highest number of seconds in the memory game. What percent were below? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 were below. 10 out of 12. What percent is that? Well, that's, I use my calculator. 10 divided by 12. Put that into your calculator. You get about 83%. So 83% of the people were faster than him. This represents the 83rd percentile. 83rd percentile. Anyone in the 25th percentile is labeled fast. So that any spot where only 25% of the data are below is labeled fast. What score is that? Well, 25th percentile is 25% of the data. And I'm going to multiply by 12 since there are 12 pieces of data. That's the number of data. And so this will be the cutoff for people. So we figure out how many people are got to be below there. So I'm going to change my color here. 3 people. 1, 2, 3. There's the third person. Anywhere below that spot, we consider them fast. Now, what spot is that? This is the 25th percentile. We'll call it P25, maybe for 25th percentile. But notice that it's in between these two. So I'm going to actually go, 37 plus 40 divided by 2. Anybody at 38.5 seconds or less is fast. That's like the fast cutoff. The 25th percentile has another special name since 1/4 of the data are below. right? 25% is 1/4. It's called the first quartile, or sometimes called the low quartile. And quartile, it's kind of like percentile, except for it's quarters, isn't it? Quarters. That's not very, that doesn't look very good. Let's redo that. Quartile. And sometimes you'll see me do this. I'll refer to P25 as Q1, the first quartile cutoff spot. When we break a data into 4 as equal as possible parts, we call them quartiles. I was already talking about quartiles. So to find the quartiles, it says find the median, which is the second quartile. That's what I'd call Q2. I like calling it Q2. And then find the median of the first half of the data, which is the cutoff for the first quartile. The third quartile is the median of the second half of the data. And this idea of first half and second halves of the data, well, we'll get to that in a second here. I wonder if I can grab my data here. Yes, I can. I should be able to now anyway. I'm going to clone that, bring it down here. Wonder why I could do it this time. Very strange, these computers. And so we've got an example there, and we're going to do example 2 is to find the quartiles for our data, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of data. We can see the median would be in here, but then if I think about covering up, let me get a rectangle and cover up. I'm going to cover up the first half of the, or the second half of the data. That's what I'm going to do. All right, like this. Well, there's the first half of the data. If I find the median of the first half of the data, well, it would be that one. So considering the entire group of data, this is Q1. This is Q1. And then if I find the median of the second half of the data, this is Q3, the third quartile. And in doing that, I can kind of cut it into 4 quarters. And it's kind of like they're equally the same size. It's almost like in this example where I've got 2.5 pieces of data, which doesn't make any sense, I realize, but 2.5 pieces of data in each quartile. So find the quartiles of the memory data game. Here we go. Well, where was the median first? Well, right there. It was 47. And then where's the median of the first half of the data? Well, if I were to, cover up the second half, well, where's the median of the first half? It is right here, isn't it? It was actually our fast cutoff. That's Q1, and what did we say that was? That was 38.5. And then the median of the second half of the data, well, if I just look at the second half of the data and cover this up, it's right here, isn't it? 3 and 3. And I can see in this set of data, yeah, 3 set pieces of data in each quartile, And this is 49 plus 53 divided by 2, 51. And there are the quartile cutoffs. Let me check and see how much, or is that it? That might be it. Is that it? No, that's it. Okay, percentiles, quartiles, and we're just getting going on this statistical literacy unit.